Big thanks to Fighting Walloon and Pseudomatic for the follows on Twitch. Love that stuff, guys. Really means a lot to me. Alright. Looks like we've got Riley, Kit Peddler, one of my favorites, with a workshop deck. Ooh, gotta love it. Versus HB, Eat in the Future, Engineer in the Food, however you like to say it. Very strong hands for both the players in my opinion. CrushU opts to keep. As does Shoogbear. Fortunately for CrushU, after keeping their hand, they draw into a corporate sales team, meaning icing HQ is a huge priority. You gotta think that's gonna be the Eli. I'm guessing either Eli gain 2 credits. Oh no, it's Eli in server 1 and the ABT in server 1, leaving both centrals wide open. So it is Eli ABT credit out of CrushU. And out of Shoogbear we see self-modifying code into Magnum Opus. Into Diesel. Ooh, Maker's Eye could be blammo right now. Instead, opts to drop the Personal Workshop. CrushU's got an ABT on the table. Are they gonna go for it? Yes. Oh come on! Are they gonna fire it? Oh, and they do. And it all goes into the bin. That's gotta sting. Shoogbear goes for Opus to gain 2 credits. Drops a Dinosaurus on Personal Workshop. Are they gonna check archives? Are they gonna run this Maker's Eye? No. Shoogbear giving CrushU an incredible amount of room and not punishing them for overextending. Back to CrushU with 4 credits. Don't know what they've got in the bin. Builds up the remote and gains 2 credits. Leaves the centrals wide open. Back to Shoogbear. If it were me, this Maker's Eye would have come down turn 1. Going for Magnum and then a Quality Time. And drops a Beth Kilrain Chang. Still no aggression out of Shoogbear. Alright, back to CrushU. Draws into a Project Vitruvius. Drops a Jackson Howard into server 1. Gains 2 credits. Still no ice on the centrals. Looks like Shoogbear is going to get a draw out of Beth Kilrain Chang. Or rather, a credit. Might be. Shoogbear goes for Magnum Opus. Ooh, this legwork. That legwork would just blam. Rocket Shoogbear into the lead. Almost certainly. Oh, and they go for the legwork. Let's see, they hit the Turing. Oh, there's some points, corporate sales team. And an architect. Okay, okay. And uses Magnum again. So the players are 2 and 2. CrushU's got a Jackson Howard in server 1. Goes ahead and reses a Jackson, draws 2 cards. You gotta think they're gonna drop either the Wall of Static or the Architect on R&D. Goes for, I believe, the Wall of Static on R&D. Or excuse me, on HQ. Beth picks up a card. This time it's a self-modifying code. Not likely to be very relevant in the immediate future until the Dinosaurs comes off and this self-mod turns into very likely a Leauge. Shoogbear thinking about their turn. The window to use the Maker's Eye is rapidly closing. This game has turned out very different than the first one. The first one, both players spent the bulk of their turns building up their boards and getting a stable economy. And in this game, CrushU went for a strong lead, hoping to get some ice off this ABT. Instead, hit the bin. Shoogbear did sit back a little bit and opted to get a personal workshop, a Beth, and a magnum opus down very early. And now Shoogbear's using the stim hack, going to get a Leauge, presumably. Okay, Shoogbear gets the Dinosaurus down, gets another magnum opus. You gotta think that they meant to go for the Leauge. Oh, going for a Gordian Blade. Shoogbear is having a little bit of trouble getting his stim hack right. Gonna go for a Gordian Blade off the self mod. I'm gonna double check what's going on. So they started their turn with 7 credits. Their first click, they played the stim hack. Would have bumped them up to be, hold on. Yeah, looks like they've got it sorted out. I'm not actually sure that these credits are correct. But I'm gonna leave that up to the players. Gotta think that now would be a perfect time to play a Maker's Eye. Shoogbear instead opts for a Fem on the personal workshop. Gonna think they're gonna drop the Magnum at the very least. And maybe the Diesel? I don't know. One click left on Shoogbear, and there's the Maker's Eye. CrushU left defenseless, and gets 2 points off Global Food. Jumps into the lead. 2 more unseen cards. And tosses a Magnum. Not bad, not bad. Back to CrushU. 11 credits. 6 cards in hand. A Project Vitruvius in hand. And let's see, an Eli and a Turing on server 1. You gotta think they need to ice R&D and try to get this Vitruvius scored. So they go for Architect on R&D and then just click for 2 credits. Beth picks up a Dinosaurus for Shoogbear. Not the best, as the Dinosaurus is already out. Shoogbear going for Magnum Opus, sure gamble. And last click. Maybe a Magnum Opus? Maybe a run on HQ? Maybe a run on Archives? Goes for Magnum Opus. Shoogbear draws into, CrushU draws into a Turing. Uses Jackson, picks up an Adonis. with 2 Jacksons in hand, you gotta think that the rezzed Jackson is gonna turn into extra cards, or excuse me, is gonna shuffle cards back in. CrushU drops an Enigma in front of the Architect. That's gonna be a fairly taxing server given the 2 to boost 1 on Fem for a total of breaking for 4. Architect not the best target for the Fem ability. And looks like CrushU uses the Jackson to get back Hedge Fund and 2 face down cards and drops the Adonis in server 1. Fairly straightforward play there. Back to Shoogbear, uses the Diesel to pick up some really powerful cards such as Cerberus, which goes down on the Personal Workshop, Scavenge, and Tinkering. Tinkering really going to open up any server Shoogbear needs to get into when they need to get in there. And Scavenge going to help reposition this Fim or get more tokens on this Cerberus. Now will be a fairly good time to go for another Maker's Eye. Instead opts for a Stim Hack on server 1. I like this play. If CrushU opts to not res anything, Shoogbear will be able to use these credits to get the Cerberus and the Cerberus and the Fim almost installed, and maybe even have something saved up for server 1, for whatever is in server 1. So no res on the outer piece of ice from CrushU. Probably no res on this inner ice as well. Shoogbear accesses the Adonis. And I believe has passed the opportunity to use the tokens. Shoogbear uses 6 credits on the Fem. Will Shoogbear pick up this Project Vitruvius? They hit a Jackson, probably gonna trash it, yep. And they hit the Vitruvius. Bammo! Shoogbear's up to 6 points. CrushU's still at 2. CrushU picks up a Biotic. Still has a Jackson Howard in hand. Gotta think that using the Jackson to get back this Jackson, using the Jackson in hand to get the trash Jackson back is the biggest priority at this moment. Opts to draw. It's a Breaker Bay. Gorgeous art on Breaker Bay. Drops the Jackson in to server 1 and drops, I believe, a Turing on server 1. Shoogbear uses Personal Workshop to install the FIM at no cost. Uses the FIM to target the innermost ice on R&D. Likely going for a play involving that RDI. Potentially drop the RDI on the workshop Magnum run. Nope, just Magnum, gaining 6 credits. CrushU's turn begins, and they use Jackson to draw 2 cards, and then use Jackson to shuffle 3 back in. They get an Adonis, a Jackson Howard, and 1 face down card, and then they drop a Breaker Bay and another card into server 1. Beth picks up a Quality Time for Shoogbear. Quality Time draws several cards, including another RDI. Really important in this position, in my opinion. And Shoogbear recognizes that, drops that RDI down on the Personal Workshop. 2 clicks left. Are they going to run R&D this turn? They will have to lose some cards due to the brain damage they've taken from the stim hacks. Man, Stim Shop is a fun deck. Man. Nope, Shoogbear passes on running this turn and uses Magnum twice. Discards a Test Run, makes sense. Discards a Cerberus, also makes some sense, given that there's one on Personal Workshop. Also discards a Dinosaurus and a Gordian Blade. All good stuff, all makes sense. Back to CrushU, reses Breaker Bay, and then gets a free Adonis out of it. Draws into, I believe, another Jackson Howard. Real powerful stuff for the Corp when they can string Jackson Howards together like that. Gives them a lot of control over what's in their hand and what's in their deck. Gotta think that CrushU is going to use the Jackson in a new remote to try to draw into an agenda they can score with the Biotic, or some powerful ice they can use to protect R&D. They trash the outermost piece of ice on R&D, which I believe was an Enigma, and install a second Architect there. And then they go ahead and install the Turing there as well, and I'm guessing play the Gamble? No, the Hedge Fund. Back to Shoogbear, sitting at 12 credits. Goes for a Tinkering, gotta imagine, on the Wall of Static? Interesting. Interesting. Shoogbear wanted to see both cards in HQ. It's Jackson Howard, trashes it. fairly good. Hits a biotic, sees that. Knows that it's biotic in hand and uses Magnum. You gotta imagine uses Magnum again. I missed the card that went into server 1, but they did trash the Adonis to get that card in there. More tokens come off this RDI. Only 5 credits to install 2 RDIs at this point. Pretty good. Beth picks up an extra click for Shoogbear. Shoogbear Magnums and then runs on R&D. Gonna have 2 clicks to deal with any erratic accesses. CrushU reses a Turing. Gets broken for 1 by the Gordian Blade. And now CrushU's resed an Architect. Gonna pay 4 to break it with a Them. I happen to know this is an Architect. Gonna bypass that for 2, and we'll still have plenty of credits left over for these RDIs. Ooh, Shoogbear opts not to install the RDIs. Possibly gonna roll that back. Nope. Gonna move forward. And Magnums. And you gotta imagine Magnums again. CrushU reses another Adonis for free. Has 16 credits, but no ice really to install to protect themselves on R&D. Only costs, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7 credits for Shoogbear to get in. Draws into an Ash. Real critical card in this game. Possibly the best place to put it right now is on R&D. Yep, and there it goes. CrushU still waiting to draw into an Agenda 2 Biotic. Back to Shoogbear with 5 clicks from Beth, a Magnum Opus, now an RDI out, and another one waiting on Personal Workshop. Goes ahead and uses Magnum. Uses Magnum again. You gotta think they're gonna run here. Yep. Only costs 7 to get in. They will see the Ash probably. Ooh, I don't know how that trace is gonna go. We'll see. And CrushU opts. Oh, CrushU is gonna res the Ash. Will CrushU bankrupt themselves for the Ash? Probably not a good call, given that Shoogbear can very easily trash the Ash and then come over here and trash this Adonis. CrushU boosts up to 7, puts 3 of their own money in there. And Shoogbear only accesses the Ash, and you gotta think that they're gonna go for Magnum again. Things are looking fairly grim for CrushU. They do have an archive memories to get the Ash back, and now they've got a toll booth. That toll booth could be of limited effectiveness, given that there's a Fim on the table. Fim much better positioned on a toll booth than an Architect. Yep. CrushU goes to install on the root of R&D, trashes the Turing, so saves a credit installing the toll booth. CrushU back to, goodness, 3 clicks, or 5 clicks at the start of their turn, goes to draw twice, magnums, and runs R&D with a Maker's Eye. Potentially going to see 4, maybe 5 cards here. And given that CrushU hasn't seen any agendas recently, that means they're in R&D. Let's see, does CrushU have enough, or does Shoogbear have enough to get in? Yes, it looks like it. Well, hold on. No, not quite. One of the architects might have to fire. Or at least fire 1 subroutine. Looks like Shoogbear is going to let an architect fire 1 subroutine. Best subroutine to fire has got to be corp installs from HQ or archives. Yep, there it is. Installing from HQ or archives. But it's probably going to be the Ash. Yeah, it is the Ash. Kind of unfortunate for Shoogbear there. Just a few credits short. Shoogbear ends up jacking out. Makes sense? That was a pretty brutal turn of events for Shoogbear. Shoogbear has really had a hard time closing this game out. And now that Ash is back, it's going to take a lot of turns clicking with Magnum to get Shoogbear up into the credit range they need. CrushU just installing an Eve. Shoogbear drawing twice, or excuse me, magnuming twice, drawing twice. And they discard a Fem. Pretty soon they can use the Scavenge to make a run on R&D cost 8 credits, or 9 rather. Alright, CrushU with 15 credits. No agendas in hand. It's been quite a long time since any agendas have come out of this game. When they do come out, they are going to come out all of a sudden. CrushU thinking about how they're going to move forward from here. And having no agendas is pretty rough. They are down on points by quite a bit. They need at least 2 more scores to get back in to win the game. CrushU still thinking about how things are going to go. Not many options here outside of drawing. Draws, hits an Eli, not really what they want to see. Might not be bad to put the Eli on the Eve. Highly likely the Eve is going to get trashed next turn. Ends up trashing a card from server 1 and installing the Ichi there. Gotta think that they're gonna then install... Alright, so now this server is Eli, Ichi, Turing, Eli. And CrushU down to 11 credits. Is Shoogbear gonna take care of this Eve? Shoogbear throws down a Diesel. Picks up a Sure Gamble, another RDI. Drops the RDI onto the personal workshop. Plays a Sure Gamble. And runs into HQ. Not going to find much there. It's a wall of static. Alright, it is back to CrushU. Back to CrushU here. Draws a Archive Memories. Not a lot of options still. And Archives goes down for an Adonis campaign. Makes sense. Gotta think the Adonis is going to go into server 1. Yep, there it is. And CrushU clicking to gain a credit. Beth pulls a click for Shoogbear. Personal Workshop gets an RDI down. And Shoogbear is clicking Magnum. Goes up to 17 credits. Hits the toll booth. Shoogbear gonna spend, 2 credits on the Gordian Blade? Yeah, I guess they don't need to reposition the Fem. Gonna pay 4 on the Architect. Gonna click through, use this Fem on this Architect for 2 credits. CrushU does have an Adonis, an Ash here. I think the reason Shoogbear is doing this is because they knew about the Archive Memories, and what they really don't want to happen is to trash this Ash just to have the Archive Memories pull it back out. Unfortunately for Shoogbear, CrushU's got a second Archive Memories in hand. And CrushU does sink 3 credits into the Ash. Shoogbear trashes it. CrushU has just drawn an ABT, and they're gonna go for it. Biotic, ABT, advance, advance, advance. Buff Gobo, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Is CrushU gonna fire this ABT? That is what we are waiting for now. Could be very risky. There's a lot of agendas in R&D. A lot of ice is out. Opts to not sure it, plays it safe. Excuse me, opts to not fire it, plays it safe. Back to Shoogbear. R&D is, if not wide open, it's certainly vulnerable to several clicks on Magnum and then run. Let's see, they get in for 3 plus 2 from Gordian Blade on the Dinosaurus, plus, so that's 5, and plus 4 is 9, plus another 2 is 11. I think they'll have just enough to get all 3 RDIs down, and then that could do a lot of damage. Shoogbear is probably thinking about just that. And they go for it. I think they're gonna be seeing 3 cards here. You gotta think that's gonna win the game. Looks like Shoogbear opts to not install this RDI. Accesses 3 unseen cards, nothing. Man, those agendas are buried in there deep. CrushU draws into another Biotic, and then spends their turn drawing, putting fresh cards on the top of R&D. It is 11 credits to get in. For Shoogbear. So CrushU's got 2 turns at most. Let's see if Shoogbear has another stim hack. Let's see, 1 influence. That's a total of 3. 4. Total of 6. 7. 8. 9. Looks like we can see 9 influence from Shoogbear. Players having a little banter with each other, relieving the stress of this game. I do think that CrushU is gonna have to at least score 1 global food to win. I guess they could score. Yeah, I think they will have to score out of their remote ones. Beth draws a card for Shoogbear. Another counter comes down from Magnum Opus. think the right play here for Shoogbear is to Magnum and to hit R&D next turn. Probably using a Scavenge to reposition the Fim. I've gone back and forth if that's the right thing to do, given that Gordian Blade is so close to strength already, and it does only cost 5. And that would ultimately increase the cost of this Architect by 2. But this tinkering on this Architect would really help Shoogbear get in. Yeah, I think Shoogbear might have an... Oh, Scavenge comes down. Reinstalls the Fem, targeting the toll booth. Shoogbear is going to be able to get in for 1 credit, or excuse me, get past the toll booth for 1 credit, and then pay 4 E piece. So we're going to get in for 9 credits. Ooh, CrushU draws an ABT. So here's the question. Is CrushU going to pick up the Ash with the archived memories, or are they going to go for the ABT score? I think pick up Ash, install Ash, hedge funds, not a bad choice. And I think ultimately that is the right choice. But we shall see. CrushU goes for a draw, picks up an Eve campaign. Installs the ABT in server 1 and plays the hedge fund. CrushU's got to be hoping to draw a Vitruvius to score their last points. Back to Shoogbear with 5 clicks this time. Gets an RDI out. You got to think they're going to click Magnum and run either R&D or server 1. They're going for R&D. They still have 1 click left. They probably don't want to go into server 1 right now. But if this doesn't win in the game, we shall see. Alright, going for the Architects, gonna break those guys. And here it is, gonna see a total of 4 cards with 3 RDIs out. Alright, 3 cards gone. No agendas. Is this last card an agenda? No, it's a Breaker Bay. Oh, nope. Okay, so no points for Shoogbear. But they did trash a Breaker Bay. Go into archives. Gotta imagine there's no agendas here. Yep. Just some ice. Now, back to CrushU. They've got an ABT. And they're gonna go for it. But Shoogbear's got an... Oh, and they go for the... They test the ABT. And they hit an architect and a toll booth. Oh my gosh. This server now costs... this server now costs 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 4, so let's see, 12 for the 3 architects plus another 5 for the toll booth, that's 17, plus this FEM here for a grand total of 18 credits just to get into R&D. You know what? I think the right play here might be to just magnum up. You gotta, first of all, you gotta check archives. You have to check archives here. But I think ultimately the right play might just be to go Hail Mary at some point and scavenge this magnum opus into this FEM. You've got another scavenge, you can undo it later if you really need to. Shoogbear goes for HQ. Hits a biotic labor. Shoogbear, you gotta come and check archives. I think this gotta be Magnum Archives. Shoogbear is coming back into HQ. Shoogbear leaves this face down card unchecked. I think Shoogbear is still in this game. But it's gonna take some real outside the box thinking to get there. CrushU opts to put an Ash into server 1, probably trying to bait Shoogbear in there. Checking archives, I think, is still critical. And then magnuming and scavenging. Shoogbear goes for Magnum twice, Magnum 3 times, Magnum 4 times, Magnum 5 times. Ooh boy. CrushU reses an Eve in server 1. Still cannot find an agenda. Plays an archive memories on biotic labor. Still one face down card. At this point, it's very unlikely, given that archive memories could have picked it up. Shoogbear gonna magnum, and then run R&D, baby. Come on, go for it. Yep, run on R&D. Here it is. You gotta think this is gonna win the game. Shoogbear is gonna see more than half of R&D. There should be 2 agendas in there. This certainly is a very close game. Alright, Shoogbear just going through the motions of breaking all this ice. And what's it gonna be? There it is. Shoogbear takes it away. Wow, what an incredible game. Wow. How awesome is that? Well, thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out. And thanks, of course, to Shoogbear and CrushU for letting us spectate their teaching league game. We are going to hopefully have some more league games for you guys on Wednesday evening. And then on Thursday, we will be back at 8:30 Pacific time with our regular program. And we will catch you all then. Bye-bye.